Hello again to all subscribers and listeners of this channel. You're listening to Obsidian Radio, and today you're listening to another review of Attack on Titan by me. We shall go over Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 17, entitled Hero. And in this episode, we see a great highlighting of a really well-written and well-developed character. In the very beginning, we all see our favorite character, Captain Levi, perform something incredible, heroic, but somewhat predictable. But Levi is not the hero we're talking about. The character we're focusing on today is Armin. What he did with his intelligence, critical thinking, situational analysis, his heart, and his courage truly made him the hero of this particular episode. And he truly was a hero in a way that most of us have ignored. Even Armin himself didn't see his true potential throughout all of these situations. But we finally see a good example of it here. So let's dive in. So as far as episode 17, here are my first thoughts. My first thoughts on this episode were somewhat misplaced, but that was almost exclusively because of the very good writing by Asayama Hajime. I, like everybody else, was waiting for Captain Levi to go in on the Beast Titan, and it's safe to say that I was not disappointed. I don't think anybody was. That entire sequence was just beastly. But even more so, I was pleasantly surprised by the incredibly good writing that involved both the defeat of the Armor Titan by the Levi squad using the Thunder Spears, as well as the battle of Armin and Eren against the Colossal Titan. Very powerful, emotional, and intense scene that ended in a very questionable victory for the scouts. Now, as far as the plot, so the episode 17 opens up with Commander Erwin giving his speech to the scouts. He gets taken down by a boulder that rips through his horse's head and his own left torso. He is then catapulted to the ground and is left lying there motionless. The rest of the scouts continue their suicide charge towards the Beast Titan as he continues hurling wave after wave after wave of boulders at them. We get one very poignant scene where Marlowe, a younger, less experienced scout, is both seeing his life flash in front of him. He's seeing in slow motion the release of the boulders from the Beast Titan's hand, and he's also thinking about what Hitch is doing right before his face gets ripped in half by a shower of rocks. The Beast Titan celebrates as he's convinced he's killed off the entire Survey Corps, only to be mildly surprised to see more of them, the last few scouts, coming at him firing the last of their smoke guns. Enraged, the Beast Titan accidentally crushes some of his own boulders to dust. He is sickened by the fact that these scouts and the people of this island are riding to their death only because they don't know the secrets that were kept from them by the king. He calms down, launches his last wave of rocks at them before being surprised by the incredibly epic entrance of Captain Levi. And effortlessly, Levi cuts down the Beast Titan, rips him from his Titan nape, impales him in the face with his sword, and then contemplates about injecting one of the fallen scouts with the Titan serum in order to feed the Beast Titan to them. That way their side can gain the powers and abilities of the Beast Titan. Very quickly, the quadruped Titan that was with the Beast Titan interrupts this, carries the Beast Titan away, who then orders his last few Titans to attack Levi. Levi chases after the severely injured Beast Titan as Flock rises from the battlefield and stumbles towards the wall. We cut to the next scene. On the other side of the battle, Armin finally finds a weak point in the Colossal Titan. He tells them to split up. 4 of them will finish off the Armor Titan with the Thunder Spears, while he and Eren take on the Colossal Titan by themselves. They all agree, and the fight continues. While Armin goes over to Eren, he first laments about possibly never seeing the sea, that massive beautiful body of salt water, before he plunges his sword into Eren, wakes him up and tells Eren the plan. Jean, Connie, Sasha, and Mikasa go after the Armor Titan to distract him, but he ignores them and goes straight for Eren. Mikasa, without even thinking about it, simply blows out Reiner's leg, crippling him, using the Thunder Spear. The rest ultimately decide to try to blow open his mouth, or his jaw really, with their last 3 Thunder Spears. Sasha launches hers, but it malfunctions. Connie launches his and hits perfectly on the side of the jaw, but it's not enough to open the jaw completely for Mikasa to make the final strike with the last Thunder Spear. All of a sudden, Hanji Zoe, thankfully she's alive, she shows up, plants a really nice shot on the other side of the Titan jaw, of the Armored Titan's jaw. That forces the jaw to be completely broken open. Can't close his mouth. Mikasa comes in and is able to enter Reiner's mouth and place another well-aimed Thunder Spear directly into the back of the throat, the softest part of the throat, and blows Reiner right out of the backside of his nape. So that's 2 for the scouts. The Beast Titan got taken down, and now the Armored Titan got taken down. Can they make it to 3? Let's see. Finally, we see Berthold slowly getting closer to Eren and Armin in the wall. Eren falls to the ground at the base of Wall Maria. Berthold, seeing this, assumes that Eren is too severely injured, and Armin, obviously, to Berthold's viewpoint, poses no threat whatsoever. So, Berthold strikes against Armin as Armin dodges. Armin then does something that is ingenious. He anchors his ODM gear onto the teeth of the Colossal Titan and holds on while Berthold uses the remainder of his body's material to turn into, I guess it was like a steam heat wave attack to try to blow Armin away. Berthold prolongs this only because he's not aware of where Armin attached his ODM gear. So Berthold's wondering, like, why is Armin still there? Why is he not falling off yet? He's not sure, but he keeps doing the steam heat blast thing, so he ends up burning Armin's skin almost completely off. But Armin knows for a fact that when Berthold does this, he's converting mostly his muscle mass into this heat steam blast attack, not the bone mass. So Armin's able to stay in there a lot longer than Berthold anticipates. But Berthold does eventually knock Armin off of his ODM gear by severely burning him and just completely destroying everything that Armin is attached to. When Armin falls, Berthold foolishly assumes that the fight is over, only to have Eren come up and finally cut him out of this Colossal Titan nape and rip him out of his body. As Eren carries Berthold away, we have Berthold lament about how Eren and Armin fooled him into letting his guard down. On the other hand, we hear Eren lament about how Armin was the bravest of all of them, and how no one truly appreciated Armin's courage. The episode ends with Eren holding on to both an unconscious Berthold and a severely, very badly burned Armin Arlert. So we have Eren Yeager, Berthold Hoover, and Armin Arlert all there, completely still, on the roof of one of the buildings in Shiganshina district, where this entire war first began. Interesting things that I noticed. So here goes with some interesting things. A, I think Wit Studio works with a different animation team or different animators for Levi scenes. Every time we see Captain Levi go God mode or Beast mode or whatever it is with his Ackerman power, and he just goes in on an enemy, the animation looks distinctly different from the normal animation. You felt this when he cut down the female Titan. You saw this again when he had his first fight against Kenny. And you see it again when he cuts down the Beast Titan. The animation is just on a whole different level. Absolutely beautiful and very fluid from beginning to end. Also, if anybody can confirm that, I would like to know. It does seem like the animation just changes noticeably and gets a whole other uptick in quality during Levi's attacks of just beastliness. But if anybody can confirm that, really appreciate it. B, Armin being Berthold's mental counterpart, while Eren seemed to be more like his emotional / physical counterpart. What do I mean? If fans pay close attention to Attack on Titan since day one, they'll notice something. And what they'll notice is that the Titan portrayed the most on posters and merchandise representing Attack on Titan as a whole, usually is the Colossal Titan. And it's almost always in some type of image where he is facing against Eren in some type of way. Yet throughout the series, it's actually Armin who, if you pay close attention, is always outthinking Berthold, outsmarting him, or doing a good job of figuring out the best move to make against him, or figuring out some type of weakness that the Colossal Titan has. You notice this in season 2 when Armin basically did that mind raping of using the whole Annie's being tortured to take Berthold out of his, just to get Berthold to overreact. He did that in season 2, and he's the main one planning against Berthold all throughout season 3. Very interesting. So as far as I'm concerned, on a symbolic level and on an intellectual, physical, battlefield level, it's very fitting that Eren and Armin, not Mikasa, but Eren and Armin together, were the ones that finally brought down the Colossal Titan. Interesting that Mikasa actually fought against Berthold more than the other two, but again, it was these two who actually brought him down. Very good character interplay by Asayama Hajime when it comes to how he wrote his characters. Very good. C. The interesting scene where Floch finds out he's still alive. I find it interesting that he was one of the main ones who was the most vocal about the suicide charge, how he didn't want to do it, he was scared, he didn't think it would work, he was visibly more afraid than many of the other scouts. Yet, he's the one that walks away from the battlefield with pretty much no injuries, so not even a scratch on him. Also, the animators did a good job with his animation. If you go back and watch the scene when he's walking very closely, they actually make it look like he is shaking and wobbling a little bit when he's walking away. And that's actually something that seems to be somewhat common among people who have just been in a near-death experience. They just escaped something that could have killed them. They're very shaky, they're very scared, they're very wobbly, and they're almost in disbelief that they're still alive. And Floch's characterization showed that really nicely when he's walking away. Very good attention to detail. D. The really sad scene where Marlowe, he's the guy with the bowl haircut, right in the very beginning. He's thinking longingly of Hitch, right before receiving a boulder to the face. The slow motion view of the Beast Titan, when he's throwing the rocks, while thinking of something positive, and that's his life flashing in front of him. That's the slow-mo of the current situation. Again, very, very good detail on the emotion, the imagery, and the intensity of what he sees and what we're seeing through his eyes. What he's thinking and what he feels right before the moment of death. E. The way the music stopped, you heard nothing in the background when Eren finally defeats Berthold. The only thing you hear is Berthold screaming and Eren roaring when he finally pulls Berthold out of his Colossal Titan body. It's as if we needed to feel the total impact of what Eren had done. Finally, cutting down the Colossal Titan, the one that started it, the one that first broke Wall Maria, the one that led to the Titans feasting on humanity inside the walls. The Titan that destroyed Shingashina District the first time. The one that ultimately led to Eren's mother being killed and eaten. The Titan that Eren tried to strike down in Season 1 when he was a fresh new recruit. We need to see this scene completely unaided by any scoring. And the fact that we heard nothing except Berthold's scream, Eren's roar of accomplishment, Berthold's inner monologue, and the rumble of the Colossal Titan finally falling shows how well Wit Studio did when it came to creating this scene. Very beautifully crafted, and they made this scene exactly the way it should have been made. Very good job. F. Now, this is something I'm very curious about. Curious question. How did Armin fall? And where did he fall when he was being blown away by Berthold's heat waves? Where did he land? Or did Eren somehow catch him before he went over to Berthold's nape? That still confuses me. Now, as far as the animation quality, compared to episode 16, the animation was much better for episode 17. A few good examples. Example A. Very obviously, the fight, if you can call it a fight, between Levi and the Beast Titan was so beautifully executed. I almost got the impression, like I said, that it was a different set of animators that was used exclusively for that sequence. Every single frame looked like it was its own masterpiece. And I have some still shots from it. So if you're gonna see in the background. In fact, I get the feeling the animators from the most of Levi I've seen, I do think they're a different group of animators from the animation of the rest of the episodes, but I had to see. Again, like I mentioned before, when Levi cut down Annie, Levi versus Kenny, the very first fight inside the district, and the absolute dominance over the Beast Titan all feel like they're pretty much the same in terms of being very beautiful, being very fluid, and being on a whole higher level of quality than all the other action throughout most of the series. B. The animation where the scouts are firing at Reiner. Again, very fluid with the nice intense close-up shots of each character as they took the armored titan down. Nicely done. Also, the part where you actually see the thunder spears spiraling towards his jaw, really nice. C. Also, when Armin is getting steam blasted by the Colossal Titan. This entire sequence all the way up until Eren finally dragged Berthold out of his Titan was well executed. It also was another example of the CGI and the 2D animation being blended together much better than in most other episodes. Very good. And as for the overall quality of the entire episode's animation, I'd give it about a 9.5 out of 10. Nearly perfect from the beginning of the episode all the way to the end of the episode. The only problem was some of Berthold's movements as he attacked Armin, and some small bits of animation flaw after Levi nearly slaughtered the Beast Titan. Other than that, the episode animation was top notch. High quality stuff. Best about the episode was a toss up between two scenes. One obvious scene and another sequence that's less popular and not as obvious, but just as good and even more symbolic in the way that it was produced. A. First one was definitely obviously when Levi is absolutely ripping to pieces the Beast Titan. Absolutely flawless in his very precise dissecting of each vulnerable body part until he's able to pull the Beast Titan out of his nape. Just absolutely glorious. Especially considering what the Beast Titan did to almost the entire Survey Corps. B. The other scene that's not as popular, not as well known or whatever as this one is, but is a much more intense, much more emotional sequence was between when Armin attaches to the Colossal Titan's teeth all the way until Eren cuts Berthold out of his nape. The plan that Armin executes, the way he studies Berthold's weaknesses that Berthold didn't fully perceive in his own Titan body, how Eren successfully played along, how the music played during the entire battle, the fact that a battle meant simply, the fact that this battle was basically Armin simply holding on to the anchor for as long as possible while being burned alive. Very creative writing, again, I think I mentioned this in the last video, that the fights and the battles that go on in Attack on Titan are so original and unorthodox. I really like them a lot more than the typical anime fights, which is just basically two really strong characters who get more powerful, and the more powerful one wins. Again, that's predictable. We see that coming. Attack on Titan does a whole different thing when it comes to how two characters fight each other. And I just love the choreography, the creativity, the imagination that goes into how characters actually go against each other when they get into battle. This is a perfect example of that. Also, the way the music stopped at certain points to help us feel more of what was happening when Eren finally cut the Colossal Titan down. So many things about this entire sequence were well done, and unfortunately they will be overshadowed by the Ackerman defeating the Beast Titan sequence. But if you look at this entire sequence on its own, it is a very beautiful sequence, a very beautiful fight scene. Nice. Both of these, as far as I'm concerned, are tied in terms of what was best about the episode, but for different reasons. Now, what was worse about the episode? Only a few small sequences of the Colossal Titan hitting the wall seem slightly off right before Armin jumps onto and attaches to the teeth with his ODM gear, and some slightly awkward sequences right after Levi defeated the Beast Titan. Other than that, there's nothing really wrong with this episode. Did the animation team switch right after Levi punched his sword into the Beast Titan's face? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It feels like it did, but if anybody can confirm that, let me know in the comment section below. Now, as far as my favorite scene, oddly enough, my favorite scene is not actually Levi cutting down the Beast Titan. Neither is it the fight between Armin and Berthold. My favorite scene is actually the moment when Eren finally cuts the Colossal Titan down. Something about Eren trying to cut the Colossal Titan down since season 1, and the fact that the Colossal Titan finally got cut down when it was the first one that caused all this damage in the very first episode of the entire series. Absolutely epic. A few reasons for this. A, Eren has had 3 different violent interactions or confrontations with Berthold. Anyone else notice how the best things in Attack on Titan or most storytelling comes in 3s? I might make a video about that in the near future. Who knows? But yeah. So let's go down these 3 times where Eren faces the Colossal Titan. First, when he tried to cut his nape near Walmaria in season 1. The next one is when Berthold uses his Titan steam to stop him from releasing Reiner. That's in season 2. And in season 3, finally, this time when we see Eren finally cut Berthold out of his Titan nape and cut the Colossal Titan down. B, the music stops right when Eren has him. Because it's nearly silent, we can focus on the entire rage that Eren feels. We focus on Eren actually finally getting the Colossal Titan where he wanted him. And again, whoever made the choice to stop the scoring on that scene, in my opinion, was a genius. We need to hear everything that's going on in that scene and not be distracted by anything else. C, he cut Berthold down exactly the way he tried to, but failed to do in season 1. He also did it near the same Walmaria. Again, things coming in full circle. Beautiful. Beautiful. In terms of a 1 to 10 score, I'll give this episode a 9 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. A few tiny bumps here and there. Maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. Somewhere around there. Nearly perfect episode in my opinion. As far as the overall summary, I'm convinced that this was a really well done episode that showed 3 very intense situations all happening at once. The battle against Reiner, the Armor Titan, well played by the scouts, especially when they used the surprise entrance by Hanji, and they all were able to take the Armor Titan down using the Thunder Spears, especially the last one that was done by Mikasa. The battle against Berthold, the Colossal Titan, everything about that fight, or nearly everything about that fight, from the setup to the very end, was incredibly good writing. It also was well written symbolically when it comes to people who follow Eren, Armin, and Berthold's characters' interaction from the beginning. You'll know what I'm talking about. And finally, the battle against the Beast Titan. Levi, again, demonstrating his beautiful, powerful acumen ability, as usual. All of these situations put the scouts near death's door yet again, but because of their sacrifices, their quick thinking, and their incredible courage, they're able to pull through, although barely. Very well put together episode, and very, very well written. And that's all for now. Please like, subscribe, share, and donate to support this channel. You all have a nice day. I'm out. Peace.